Welcome to the Northeast Kingdom Voice. I'm your host, Scott Wheeler. Today's guest is Kaitlyn Thomas, a local history advocate. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
This is the first time we're actually meeting, but being a history lover myself and the publisher of Vermont's Northland Journal, I've actually been following you.
Yeah.
You came out of nowhere. I all of a sudden I kept seeing you just involving yourself with local history, and I said, "Wow, that's great that we have a young person, a young woman, is so interested in local history." And you don't, you know, you're not one of these people that shoots just from the cuff. When you're trying to answer a question, I see you delving into it. And I suspect you're on like maybe newspapers.com
Oh
or
my gosh.
something.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And that is, and for the viewers and listeners, newspapers.com or software such as that, we can delve into many of the old newspapers, and it's really easy. Just you have keywords, and we can, like for example, I'm researching catamounts, as in not the UVM catamounts.
Yeah. The
As
animal.
you know, all you have to do is you set it for like Vermont, and then catamounts, and maybe the years that you're looking for, and there comes the newspaper articles. So yeah, you've really impressed me, and I think you've impressed a lot of people. Uh, who are you? We'll start out with that.
Okay. I grew up here. I'm Kaitlyn Thomas. I grew up over in Newport Center, on Pogany Hill. I ended up going to school in Texas after I graduated from North Country in 2014. So I went to Texas and met my husband, who was going to school in Tennessee, and I ended up following him to Tennessee for whatever reason. And just ended up setting up roots there. And I don't know what year it was, but I ended up buying this book that you had written.
Oh yeah.
The one with the bus on it.
Yep.
I was looking, it says it's published in 2018, and I want to say it was more like 2020 when I bought it from you. But I was so brave, I like immediately added you on Facebook or something. I don't know who I thought I was. And this book was like the first time that I had kind of gotten an interest in our local town history. I had no idea about like the park used to be the dump, like I didn't know about all the hotels on Main Street, just a lot of these things. So I think that's when I started getting a little bug about that. And then so not only local history, I'm obsessed with family history too. And recently I found out that they work really well together. Um, I I enlisted like locals who needed help with like a mystery that they had. And some of their mysteries were so hard. Like one lady, I feel so bad. I still haven't finished or even barely started hers. But this one girl, it's like trying to find the history of her random house in a town locally.
Yeah, I think I know which
Yeah.
one you're talking
So just it's so like you can really dive deep. Like, I mean, I think I'm a nerd, so anyway, but that's what I'm working on currently. And this morning I had like a little breakthrough with her. I don't know if she agrees with me that it's like her house, but it was basically censuses and ancestry.com that helped me. And then I use that information plus like newspapers to like really like get crazy. But anyway, I'm going off track here. Reel me in, I guess.
No, you know what I don't know if you've run into this then yet. When you're talking about houses,
Uh-huh.
sometimes houses are actually moved. You know,
Yes.
back in the day, like I had a woman contact me recently, and she knew basically where her house was. Her house was off of, I believe, Central Street.
Okay.
And But then now it's located probably a mile away now. And she just wanted to know a little bit of information about it. Yeah, they used to move houses a lot more than they used to. They apparently, if they didn't like the view, they'd move the house.
Yeah, I feel like you might have seen my conversations on Facebook, but my local church was moved in like 1890 or something. Um,
Which church is that?
yeah, so there's a little church on Concord Ave near the Brown Cow.
Oh,
So
okay. Yeah.
yeah. So it used to be, I want to say it's like the Congregational Church. You know the church that burned down in the 60s on the edge of like School Street and
Oh,
Main
and
Street.
in the
The
50s.
50s. Okay.
Yeah.
So my church used to be their church and they outgrew it. Like they wanted a better church.
Right.
So they just sold it to some religion. I think they were called like the Adventists, which is actually really close to my church. My church is the Seventh-day Adventist.
Right.
And anyway, so yeah, they just moved it with oxen down halfway across town. Amazing.
No,
So
that's yeah. But it's funny, they did it so often, well, relatively often, that that there's no photos of it, even during photography time. No, there are some. I have seen
yeah.
one photo of, it wasn't a good photo, but it was on Coventry Street, a building being moved up that
Wow.
way. Well, then you just get the recent one, the Christian Science Church.
Yeah, the wedding venue.
Yeah, it was no longer really being used much as a church. The population had died, and so the Wright, uh, Todd and Hillary Wright, they bought it and moved it way up to Derby on top of the hill.
I've
And now,
never been over there to see it.
oh, it's amazing. It's amazing what they did by, instead of like what they would have done in the old days, they would have moved the whole building. But they, just because it's a different time, but
Mhm.
they actually, they cut it up into many pieces and then placed it back together.
All right. I feel like I support the old version, but that might have been harder, I
Yeah,
guess.
but I think in this day and age, I think it's you got to remember back in the old days they didn't have for the most part, the really early ones didn't have the power lines crossing the roads. Now it's
Oh,
so
yeah. Okay, well, okay, I understand now. I support you guys or the Wright family, obviously.
right. So tell me this. What is have you come across, I know you said you're working on this house, but have you come across anything that was like, wow, I can't believe this?
Let me think. I mean, I just think it, the house I live in, I don't know if you've seen this post, but I like swore up and down that I live in this old house. I think it was like built in 1900 or something. And I assumed it was a farmhouse. And somehow I tracked down who owned it. And then I looked up their name in newspaper.com and got a newspaper of he and his brother attending like a certain little school in so it's in Derby. Well, I guess it was called Salem back then.
Yeah.
It's right on the lake. So uh anyway, I ended up posting on Facebook about it. I was like, "Hey guys, like does anybody know where this school is located?" And one of his granddaughters said, "You I don't know how she figured this out, but she's like, you live in that old schoolhouse." And I was like, "What? Like, no?" And we ended up chatting, and yeah, sure enough, it was like the family lore is like the schoolhouse, and yeah, I don't know, it's weird.
Oh, that's interesting.
I feel like that's not a cool enough story, though. Let me think. I don't know. I
I
might
grew
have to
up
get
in
back with you.
I grew up in an old schoolhouse
What? That's cool.
on Clyde Street. Clyde Street used to be West Derby, uh,
Yeah.
and that Clyde Street at one point was a kind of a hopping place. Back more than 100 years ago, the mills
Oh,
along the Clyde River, you had your own pretty much self contained community there, and you had your schoolhouse, and the the second president of, I want to say it's Cornell University,
Yeah.
graduated from that
No
school. He
way.
went on. So,
That's amazing.
right. Now, here's one thing. One thing I've gotten, sometimes people don't like me doing it, but most people appreciate it, is I'm not a PR writer.
Hmm.
Um, so sometimes I write about I write about pretty topics. I write about white picket fences and quaint village commons, but sometimes I write about gnarly things
Hmm.
because history isn't always pretty. I've written about. I don't know if you've come across the articles about the cross burnings of the KKK.
I feel like I did. Yeah.
Yeah, I've written about that. I've interviewed people who are now gone because I've been doing this for, well, as the Journal for 25 years. Then I worked for the Chronicle and I did some there, so maybe like 30, 35 years. I've written about the cross burnings. I've written about the bootlegging, and but
Hmm.
one of the articles that I think the I don't think some city leaders were really
Oh,
happy when I did an in-depth dig, in a way, into the
uh-huh.
city dump,
Wait, no, but
because
that was interesting. I mean, I don't
oh
know
yeah,
what
but
you're referring to.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was fascinating. But the thing is, there were people who just wanted to put that out of mind. Just like, especially it proved problematic for the park, because then they did some research was done, some digs, and it is a portion of it is polluted, but I didn't do it to sabotage
No, of course
anything
not.
like the water park, the splash pad and that, but I grew up knowing that story because my late father now was a um, he just loved everything history. Like, we'd go to the dump. The dump was then located where Casella is, but it was a real dump. It was a community dump owned by Charlie Netto, and my father could go to the dump um, and come back with more than he left with,
Oh,
because he was
really?
always snagging antiques. And so I grew up, and then he'd be telling me, "Oh yeah, here," and he explained right where the landfill was. And then I researched articles and found, they used to dump everything there, and including booze during Prohibition. So yeah,
Like the police would bring them there or
yeah,
the people?
they would bring and dump thousands of bottles of booze and break them. The other thing I found interesting was they did some fire training there, and they would dig a big ditch and then get a couple gasoline or tankers and fill it up, and they did that, they lit it on fire so the firemen could practice battling fuel fires. And so have you found anything for people that they were surprised about, you know just any.
Yeah, I feel like there was a few things I just decided I shouldn't share with them. Like just, family horrend like embarrassing things, in
Right.
families. I One thing I did find, uh I'm trying to think which church it was. It was a Baptist church, and I think it was near like Derby Pond area, like in the olden days. Like, what was his name? Somebody Hinman,
Yeah, yeah, Timothy.
Timothy or something.
Yeah.
Um, their church that they had, it's no longer there. It had like a section, like a segregated section, and I was kind of shocked, like, because I'd not heard much about the history of segregation in our area.
Right.
And I was shocked, like, it said we have one black family in the area and they sit in this certain row or something. And I thought that was interesting. I
Oh,
haven't delved more into that. I think it would be interesting to do that.
oh, I'll give you a tidbit. Connecticut
Okay.
did the Connecticut. I have some relatives who lived in Connecticut, and they sent a piece to me, Hinman's. No, you don't. I can't go into it because I can't remember, but at, there was a way for people to actually own slaves in Connecticut. I can't remember the loophole, and Hinmans were slave owners.
Our
Uh,
friends, the Henmans?
yeah, they were.
Okay, so when they came to Vermont, I assume they were no longer, or they
I don't know.
I'm gonna look
It
into this. I'm so
right, yeah, yeah.
interested.
Research the Hinmans in Connecticut, and
Hmm.
but you said something too that really I appreciate is I never write embarrassing news for the sake
Hmm.
of embarrassing news. Like one woman contacted me and she wanted information about her revered like great grandfather,
Hmm.
Civil War uh, surgeon, and she said, "What can you find about him?" And then I went through. I found all kinds of glowing things, and
Hmm.
I found one, and it was um, that he was arrested for for soliciting prostitution at the Newport at the Newport Hotel because they knew. Funny thing is, they actually did have some of that. Yeah,
Oh my
in
goodness, I had
Newport.
never even considered that.
Yeah, and I asked her. I said, "Hey," I asked her straight up. I sent her a whole group of really nice stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And I said, I've got something else. I said, do you want to see things that aren't so she said, I'd love to.
Yeah.
And I sent that to her and she loved it because I hate to say it, kind of made even him a more human person,
Yeah.
yeah. And I don't know. And it's like there's another prominent family here, a very good family. When they first moved to this country, I won't say which country because most people would
Hmm.
know, but when they moved to this country, some of them were actually arrested when they were caught smuggling in family members. And
Oh.
it's actually a great story. And I don't know what the family would say about me writing it. And if there was I, I would actually
Yeah, if it
love,
was just like a random family that nobody would know about, like, I don't know.
yeah.
But
So,
yeah, but I guess somebody would know. So speaking of border stuff, there was a family in, I don't know if you've heard of the Elkins family in North
oh
Troy.
yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
So when they had like quite a few brothers that came from Connecticut, maybe something like that. Uh, they ended up moving up here. One of the brothers was like, "Hey, it's an amazing area, Missisquoi Valley. Like, we've got to all move over here." So a couple of them like just ended up settling in, I forget the town, but it's like right over the border. Um, and it said they weren't supposed to do that. Like, they just started building their house. Like, they were basically squatting in the land. And some weird like band of men decided that they were going to get rid of them, and they like had their horses. It was like 1880 or something, maybe earlier. And they went up with their guns and like they told the family like, we're coming in to get you. And the family just like went upstairs, and then the family killed one of the guys. And so they like disbanded, and they went to the bar and they were like, "Hey, where's Johnny?" And they were like, "Oh, Johnny's out watching the horses." And the guy with the beer like was like, "Hey, I'm gonna bring Johnny a beer." And he went out and he was like dead in the sleigh. Um, anyway, I had never heard of that. I thought it was interesting. But yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's like there was a shooting involving a couple of young men from Norton who decided to go across the border during Prohibition and raid a smuggler's um, barn and steal their own. And the smuggler, he was called the Al Capone of the North Country. He had a big smuggling operation, and and he was arrested, charged, and hung. And that was right across. Well, he was, I think, hung in Sherbrooke, but yeah,
Yeah.
but but back to you is, yeah, I've really been in fascinated by looking at your tenacity. You're always jumping in, trying. It's like when I posted a
Oh
photo
yeah, that was
recently.
embarrassing.
Which one?
I just feel like one time it was about the roller skating thing.
Oh,
I
no,
felt
no.
like I overstepped but
Oh,
it's just like
absolutely. Oh, absolutely not. Never feel that way.
because you
Is
could have totally done the same thing. I don't know
No,
what I was
no,
thinking.
I know I could have, but the thing is, but did you see the conversation? It was so great because
Hmm.
in that photo, I knew my cousin was already in it. Then my uncle Pete, but then then his kids, his kids. Well, actually, it would be his the woman who would later become his wife was in it, and then his kids who live all around the country, they
Oh,
started commenting on it. And my aunt Lillian, who was married to my uncle Pete, she must be 90 something by now, and she started telling who all these people were. But
oh, good.
if you think about it, if my aunt Lillian wasn't still alive, because that photo weren't marked,
Yeah.
we wouldn't know. That's how come I think actually talking to some of these people is actually so important.
Yeah, we need more people. Like I started panicking when you said that, I don't know, you talked about like your mortality. You were like gonna die or something. I was like,
Yeah.
oh no, like I mean, I'm here, but like who else can we get, to talk to these people?
Right. Yeah. To be realistic, I had a health scare this last fall, and you're talking about a guy who can still run a mountain, can mountain bike. And I thought I was going to be pushing up daisies by now.
Hmm.
But I'm back, I believe, back to pretty much back to 100%. It also caused me, and the rising cost of production. I'm 61 now. The journal's been going for 25 years. And now I've been saying to myself, well, where am I going with this? It took me a while after my late wife passed away. That would be going on 4 years. That kind of shook me in more ways than the obvious. But she was where she wanted to be in the business, behind the scenes.
Hmm.
I had, fortunately, when she was dying, she had the wisdom to, she sat down with me. Um, she just really helped me better understand the behind the scenes workings, because
Okay.
contrary to what some people think, is I don't get rich doing this. This is a vow of poverty.
Hmm.
I just love doing what I do, but there will, I need supporters, and that's. But back to you again.
Yes.
Is what do you plan to do with all this knowledge? What do you hope to do in the future?
Mm, I don't know. I have a little ADHD going on, so I have about 100,000 pictures in my phone, and it's just a big compilation. I mean, it's fun to have, and I don't really have a plan at this time, but I do want to join like historical societies locally. My husband said that Newport might have started one up again.
Yeah, Newport. No, Newport has. I can actually, I think I can put you in contact with the people, because for years that was just pretty much. It it wasn't really that solvent, and now new life has come back, and because
Good.
Newport, every community has a rich history, but
Hmm.
boy, Newport abounds with history. So
Yeah. I
yeah,
think
there's
it's so important for them to have one, and I hope it I hope I can help. I don't know. I think it'd be good to have me on board just because I'm really invested. I can get invested in anything, like any subject or any family or anything. Like I'll just like immerse myself and I think
yeah.
I'm the family. Like I get very, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't know if this ADH thing maybe goes into business, because
I think so.
like the one thing that people have said about some of my writing, the family have said, is the way you write, it's just like you lived it.
Hmm.
And you know, and I love my work because I get to meet some really interesting people. And I a lot of times the people with the most history or the most stories to tell are people that they're very humble. It's the people jumping
Exactly.
up
Yeah.
and down saying they have a story to tell often don't have a story to tell. And you when you're going through history books, when you're going through history books, you'll notice a lot of the old history books were written by women, which is fine
Hmm.
because that's who they were, the keeper of the history. A lot of them were. But the other thing you'll notice that isn't so nice is we live on the Vermont Quebec border, and very little is said about the Catholic families that moved here because there was a time where
Hmm.
there was a rift between Catholics and Protestants, and that's what the cross burnings were all about. It
Oh,
was the non well, and you got to remember with the cross burnings, although a lot of people were in the Ku Klux Klan, it was more of a twisted social club in which a small percentage of the people did really bad things. And
that
so
is so sinister.
when they were cross burnings here, they weren't doing it against African Americans. Largely, it was against Jewish people and Catholics. So yeah,
Okay, well, we need to talk more about that sometime. I read something recently. It was like an interview with a lady who like woke up in the night. I don't know if it was from you. It
yeah,
was
I
like
think so.
she woke up in the night and she like her father was panicked and like on
Yeah,
the hill or something.
yeah,
And
yeah. Oh yeah,
I was like talking to my husband, like, who were those bad people like doing that? And
Mrs.
he
Mrs.
would,
Willard.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Mrs. Willard.
My husband was like, it was probably, I was saying, like, was it literally like people, prominent people in like the church on the corner that I researched, like
Uh,
uh, I don't know. I don't know who they were, but he was like, yeah, they were probably prominent family. I don't know. Like,
it's amazing, but we only have another like 2.5 minutes left, and I'm certainly going to have you back on because you're just amazing. I love your passion. So, what any other projects are going to be working on?
let me think. I'm wrapping up a couple. I do have to get back in touch with one lady if she's listening. I am so sorry. I promised to get to the bottom of this. Well, actually, I shouldn't promise. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I recently started getting involved in looking at the archive room in the town clerk in North Troy. That was amazing. They were amazing. They helped me solve a couple mysteries of the moving of the house of the Blair family.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know. I just am really enmeshed in what I'm doing right now, but I'm sure there are going to be some more. So if anybody has any family mysteries they want, reach out to me,
Right.
please.
Are you a writer by chance?
Oh, I'm the niece of an English teacher. I I do write, but I haven't in a while. College kind of scarred me because my ADHD, I would just go and go and go, and it was just I would never, I don't know. I can
Well,
write, but
yeah, but I so sympathize with you because
ugh,
I worked for the Chronicle for a few years, and they write long. Their articles are longer than, say,
mhm.
a daily newspaper. So I got spoiled there. But now with the journal, I purposely do it. I don't. Some articles are just surface level. That's where I keep them. But other
Mhm.
ones, I agonize and I work. I get my ADHD and
Oh,
I dig and I
I
dig.
should try that. That sounds fun.
Yeah. So yeah, give it a whirl and
All
send an
right.
article to me.
Oh yeah, good idea. Okay.
All right. Well, I think we have to go,
Yep.
but no doubt I'm going to have you back on sooner than later.
Okay.
And maybe as I was telling you, you've got to meet
Chris.
Krista Barry at the
Yes.
the executive director of the Old Stone House because she's she is as interested in history as you are, and
Okay,
she
good.
too is in her 30s. And when she comes on this show, we just go for it.
Okay, well, I that's just my kind of thing. So thank you for suggesting it. And it's been really fun chatting.
Actually, come to think about it, I just had a meeting with her, and I told her the same thing. I said, "You got to
Yeah,
meet this
Kaitlyn.
woman."
Yeah. All
Yeah.
right. Well, we'll have to connect.
All right.
Have a good
Thank you for
afternoon.
coming on, and thank you for all your good work. Because if I do kick the bucket,
Oh yeah, don't
uh,
worry. We've got us covered.
yeah, you got me covered.
The
Because
next generation. Yeah.
right. Well, that's great.
I mean, we
All
need
right.
some help. So yeah, but yeah. All right.
Thank you to the viewers for tuning in to another segment of the Northeast Kingdom Voice.